There are pets in need of rescue aplenty. Cue a charity competition in Letterkenny. Wayne comes up with a trick of just asking real quick, which helps him hit the motherlode of pennies.
That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
It's Thirsty Thursday, and that means we are once again hanging out at the produce stand, a podcast paying tribute to the great Canadian show Letterkenny. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other podcasts about Letterkenny out there, but this one has an impressive load of pennies. I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room, as always, is the lovely Tanya. And online, we have Squirrely Matt and the Velvety Victor. And joining us this week, she's the foremost authority on everything Letterkenny. She's a moderator on the Letterkenny Discord and subreddit. Her name says it all. Join me in making some noise for Awesome.
Wondrous. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wait.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I regret nothing.
Welcome back to the produce stand. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Since you are old hat at this, we're just going to insert you in the lineup. So today's, hold on. What are we doing here? How are you now? Today's lineup is Tanya, Al, Victor, Matt, and Awesome. Tanya, how is your week so far?
Oh my gosh. It is a busy week. I am like girl on fire this week. It is busy, both work and home. We are super excited. We're seeing our cousins that we haven't seen in like 20 months. Both families are vaccinated, double vaccinated now. So we are opening the gates and they're staying for 4 days. So
there's a long weekend coming up. So they're staying for the long weekend.
Yeah. So we are so excited. The kids are bouncing off the walls. It's like Christmas in our house right now. So they're a family of 5. So I've got 3 extra beds now. And it's just been a whirlwind of trying to get everything going. So
yeah, we went from having no guests for the last 18 months to now having a whole other family coming over. So
and I'm completely addicted to watching those shows on like rentals, house rentals. And so like I'm thinking of doing like a signature drink for the front door and like having like a continental breakfast and like having the bottles of water and the towels and stuff for them. And yeah, I'm going way too far, but I'm so excited. It's just been such a long time.
In fact, just 5 minutes ago, she came back from groceries. So she's been like,
and it was so funny. As I'm being checked out, they're like, "Are you having a party?" And I'm like, "Is it obvious?" Yeah, all the treats have come home with me. So, super excited.
I don't want to see that grocery list. So my week. So in addition to the excitement of having people over for the first time in forever, we're also doing a bunch of construction out front on my front lawn. So we're doing a patio with a bunch of stonework. With my dad's doing most of the work, but I'm also out there. So I'm finishing my day, in my office, and then going out there and handing off like bricks and wheelbarrows of screening and stuff. It's just, I'm so sore right now. I'm so.
Are you building a fist shaking podium?
A fist shaking podium.
Yeah, so you can stand out on front lawn and shake your fist at the young
whippersnappers.
No.
We just miss people so
Tell all
much.
them damn kids to get off your lawn.
We just want to wave at people on the sidewalk as they pass.
Well, here's the thing: in our neighborhood's all the houses are built on sandy lots, so having green grass is basically impossible. And our front lawn looks like crap, so we basically tried to get rid of as much of it as possible. So we're doing like a nice big patio on the front, so we can sit out there with some drinks and hang out with the neighbors and stuff. So that's what we're doing.
Nice. Cool.
That's California moves, man. No one out here has a fucking lawn. We don't have the goddamn water.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of technically don't either, but we do have some neighbors with really great green lawns. They spend a bunch of money and put a lot of water on it, and they really shouldn't. But
I've always wanted a house with a porch. This is the closest I'm going to get to that.
Yeah. So it'll look good when it's done. But right now, holy crap, my hands are like raw and my back is sore. Victor, how's your day? Week? How's your week?
my days have been crazy. Actually, all week's been crazy because it was leading up because it's a 4-day long weekend for us.
Yeah.
With the mandated 4-day long weekends this summer at my company. So it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because the rest of the clients that we support don't have a long day weekend and they don't even have a 3-day long weekend. So for me, it just means like 400 emails on Tuesday in my inbox, that kind of stuff. So, it was just working a little harder than normal this week, and just had one of those, 7 a.m. Meetings where I had to present to all the heads of every single country we support and stuff like that. So it's a bit stressful. I thought I would be super nervous because I usually get a little nervous in those scenarios, but it went well, and I feel very, very relieved now. So that's it. Yeah.
It's all the hours you've logged on the produce stand that's prepared.
Well, that's just it. All this public speaking, public but not so public speaking. And it's my son's birthday tomorrow, so kind of busy running around, making sure that all the presents are ready and
Happy
all
birthday,
that.
William. How old's he?
He's going to be 18.
18.
Oh, my.
Oh.
Lord Tundra.
Lord Tundra. one more year until he can go to the bars.
Oh, dear.
That's just it.
Matt. To add to our preparation too, next week we're off. We have vacation. So, there's that too that we have to prep for.
Right.
Matt, how's your week?
On theme, I'll say. Lots of interesting things. My Tim the Tool Matt Taylor didn't get any better this week. I was took on a couple little projects around the house, and I swear I'm normally pretty good at things, but my track record is not looking so good. I'll give you 2 examples of what happened this week. So example 1, we have some tiles in our kitchen that go down our hallway, and they're 1 foot by 2 foot tiles, and a couple of them need to be replaced. When we did some other work earlier this year, it just left sort of a gap in a couple of tiles, so we had to fix them, and I've left it off. So finally I knocked them out. That was fine. It took me a bit. They're a pain in the ass, but I got them out. And then went in the garage to pull out the replacement tiles I had, only to find out that the entire case of replacement tiles was in fact just scraps from the original job. Therefore, I did not have replacement tiles. So I've just knocked out a 1 foot by 4 foot stretch of tile in my hallway with no tiles to go in it. And we bought these tiles from Costco like 8 years ago, which means
luck.
you can't fucking find them anywhere. So that's fun.
You should install hardwood.
Yeah, I'll take anything.
Final.
So that was so that was fun 1, and then fun 2 was our dryer return outside, that like exhaust vent outside. Yep. It's getting worse. I ran into it last year with the snowblower, so I need to replace it. So I'm pulling it off, and I take it off, and it's got the metal ductwork underneath, but the new attachment that I bought didn't quite fit, so I had to cut down the ductwork a bit or shave it down. So I did all that, and then I went to try to force the new piece on. My hand slipped and caught the razor sharp metal ductwork and effectively tried to remove the skin from 2 of my fingers. So that was fun. It was borderline, do I need stitches or not? But we just, threw a couple Band-Aids on it and some antiseptic and then just
super glue.
Super
glue on it. It's fine.
Yeah, I've gone through about a whole box of Band-Aids this week because I have to keep changing them every few hours, every time I get wet or something, because it's pretty gnarly, but okay, it's good times.
Give us a quick neighbor update. Have they sold yet?
I think they're probably about to take offers. We did do auditions this weekend. There was one I intervened on.
What?
Well, there was this couple.
You cannot live here. You cannot live here.
Well, they started off. There's a train track behind my house, but they started off nice.
Oh, you're
talking.
lucky.
And and it seemed like a good thing. And then I started realizing the questions they were asking about the trains is because it sounded like they wanted to turn the property into a triplex, which means 3 rentals, 3 separate families, 1 big shared driveway. And immediately said that. I said, "Oh, the train, it's terrible.
Yeah,
it's loud. It shakes the whole damn house." And in fact, they're done, and this is half truth, but they're about to improve it so that they're now running all day long. So that train is about to be an all day, every day thing. And yeah, it's not great for renters. And they're like, okay, fair enough. Thanks. And they left. I'm like,
oh, wow.
You might have Victor as a neighbor now.
You dodged the, yeah. Just get Victor to move in. That's
no, I'll take a Victor.
I don't know. Be careful what you ask for. Awesome. Sure. Welcome. How's your week?
My week's been pretty good. I mean, last week I was all about promoting the live show ticket sales for Letterkenny Live.
Yeah, you had a busy week.
Yeah. It's been good, actually. Been answering people's questions, been trying to do my best to make sure people get to keep their seats, people get to upgrade their tickets if they need to. A lot of people bought on the secondary market, so like StubHub and SeatGeek and stuff like that. And that makes it a little more complicated. But for the most part, I think people are pretty happy with what they got. And I hope I get to have a hand in that.
I hope you have tickets.
I do.
Okay.
I do have tickets for San Francisco.
Very good. When's that?
Nice.
That is March 13th, actually, which is the same date that it was last year, just a different day of the week.
Right. That's a really ambitious tour they've got going there. That's a lot of dates and
40 fucking stops.
40
and
stops.
5 of those stops have 2 shows per night.
And
wow.
And it's not like a matinee at noon or 2 and then an evening show. It's like a show at 6 or 7 and then a show at 9.
Wow.
And it's a 90-minute show, so they do have a break. But like, just based on my time in community theater, I wouldn't want to do that shit.
Wow.
That's brutal, man. The turnaround on that is going to be hard. They're barely going to have time to chuck down a bottle of water, change costumes, and get the fuck back out there.
Well, as long as they stay hydrated, I think they'll do all right.
I hope so.
Oh, my.
We got our tickets, so I'm very excited. And the show in Kitchener is the first show to kick off the tour. So hopefully they'll be nice and fresh and wide-eyed and ready to go. And I can't wait.
Great. Did you manage to get VIP tickets?
Well, we got the gold level, whatever that is. I haven't heard back from the. I was trying to get media passes, but they haven't returned my call yet. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. They've amended a lot of what they're doing with the live tour. One of the things that people who bought tickets in 2019 were looking forward to was the meet and greets, which was part of the gold VIP package, but not the silver or bronze VIP package. But for health and safety reasons, the meet and greet has been suspended.
Right. Mm. Yeah.
They're still doing the Q&A session, but that's, socially distanced, and they take questions ahead of time, which we will be soliciting questions for the Q&A through the subreddit. So keep an eye out for that.
Very cool. All right. We just lost Matt. He said he had to go somewhere. He'd be right back. So awesome. We're going to need your help on this, and you're going to play the role of Matt. Tanya, would you like a coffee?
Yes.
Victor, would you like a coffee?
I'd have a coffee.
Awesome. Would you like a coffee?
I'm surprised we're not having a coffee right now.
Great, because right now we're serving Diabolical coffee at the produce stand. It's devilishly good coffee and Diabolically awesome swag. Awesome. You're awesome for knowing how to answer that. If you're a coffee lover, regardless of your taste or preference, they have an option for you. Whole bean, coarse, and standard grind espresso. They even have a K-cup option. And now for the entirety of season 7, you can use a promo code produce stand for 10% off any coffee or merch purchased at thediabolicalcoffee.com. So please support us by supporting them. Thank you, Diabolical Coffee and Eric, for your support this season. And speaking of support, we have 14 new Twitter followers this week. So say hello to Tammy Newfield from Texas, Sayo Chain, Nori Nader from Washington, Murray Milla from Blue Mountain, Pennsylvania, Brooks Starrett, Barry Megan, Whitney D. Crutcher from Newark, New Jersey, Jacob Desjardins, Andy Coffey from Grand Rapids, Michigan, Michael Blaylock, Not About Pod from Seattle, Flyers fans in DC from Washington, DC, Twit Disturber from Ontario, and DBQ Steelers Cookie from Dubuque, Iowa. By the way, Jacob Desjardins, he's a a recent listener and just joined the Twitter DM group. And I just found out he's a local and we have mutual friends. So yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. We're chatting.
Hi, Jacob.
Yeah, so Jacob, thank you. He said he's on season 3 of our podcast, but he's watched all of Letterkenny now 4 times through. So welcome, Jacob, to the group, and shout out to you. And to the rest of you, thank you for following and hopefully for listening.
Previously on Letterkenny.
Last week, we recapped and reviewed episode 3 of season 7, Nut. That episode got a fresh from Tanya and Maynard and a clearance from the rest of us. According to our scientific Twitter poll, 72.2% of you gave this one a fresh, while 22.2% gave it a clearance. And there was actually 5.6%, which is probably just one person, gave it a compost. This week, we recap and review episode 4 of season 7, Letterkenny versus Penny. Tanya, have you done your homework?
Yes.
I've done my homework. Victor, have you done your homework?
I have.
I think maybe Matt left us to do his homework, so hopefully he comes back soon. And Austin, have you done your homework?
Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
Of course you did. How many pages of notes do you have?
How many times over?
Many times over, and I only have 4 pages of notes.
Oh, okay.
I told you I'd try and keep it under 5 last time.
We appreciate it. I'm hoping everything's okay with Matt. Anyway, here we go.
Well, don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
We start with our cold open. The Hicks are in the kitchen. Katie enters and asks them why they aren't shooting an episode of Crack an Egg this week. Wayne says there are some nutsacks in the studio trying to remake Wayne's World. This sets off a discussion of how they should simmer down with all those remakes in LA, like Hawaii 5-0, more like Hawaii 5-No. Derry thinks the show they should remake is Who's the Boss? Square Dan, Wayne, and Katie agree. Now that was a show, maybe the best show. Derry does his best Tony Danza impersonation, and Wayne says, well, to be fair, everyone does a pretty good Tony Danza impersonation. They all proceed to do their Tony Danzas. Wayne says it's like Christopher Walken impressions. Everyone does a good Christopher Walken, including Christopher Walken. Square does his best Christopher Walken, and then adds that it isn't enough to get some new actors if you're going to remake a show. You got to shake things up a little.
Here's my elevator's pitch. Now, we've established everyone loves Who's the Boss.
We have.
Everyone also loves Doctor Who's.
It's true. They do.
So why not take 2 tried and true ideas and make one new one? Doctor Who's the Boss.
Now, see, I'd watch that.
That's a 1-inch putt.
Yeah, that's a twofer.
That's a tap-ins.
That's a tap-in for Eagle.
That's an empty netter.
That's a mashups, if you will.
A layup, if you will.
Doctor Who's the Boss. Now, that's a show.
They all start imitating a scene where Tony Danza is Doctor Who, and they go on to brainstorm other show mashups that might work just as well.
Like Roseanne.
Of Green Gables.
Modern Family.
Feud.
See, I'd have gone with Modern Family Matters, just because I'm a big Urkel fan.
Maybe the biggest Urkel fan here.
Yeah, Stefan Urkel is a pretty good guy, too. Great dancer. Happy Days.
Of Our Lives.
Game of Thrones.
See, I'd go dating Game of Thrones, the world's first medieval fantasy dating realities game show. That's your hooks.
Full House.
Hunters International. Blended families looking for new homes all over the world. That's a walk with bases loaded.
Magnum P.I.
Dreams of Genies.
South Parks and Recreation.
Orphan is the New Black.
Speaker's Corner Gas.
Beverly Hillbillies 90210s.
Perfect Stranger Things.
The Mindy Project Runway.
Larry, King of Queens.
Larry, King of the Hill.
Larry, Bray King Bads.
Sesame Street Legal.
Ooh, puppets take on difficult court cases. I'm telling you, that's like having a hammer in the 8th with an empty house.
All right, there's a bunch of production notes on this one. Awesome. Are you familiar with the show Speaker's Corner?
I am, actually, yes.
Wow.
Huh.
Ow.
I was wondering, because I know City TV, that's Toronto's station. They did a lot of franchising to other American cities. So their concepts were used in other places. But I wasn't sure whether...
Yeah, there's a couple of Bay Area equivalents of the same thing. And, like, I've watched a lot of public access TV throughout my life.
Right.
So the concept is pretty familiar.
Yeah. So here's the concept for those who are too young to know. Folks would go... there's like a booth at the popular corner of Toronto at Queen and John Street. And folks would go in, pay $1, and record a video message. Then they made a TV show out of all these messages. Sometimes the messages were really creative, funny, or both. Many careers in Canadian entertainment began thanks to the Speaker's Corner. For example, there's a famous video of very, very young bare naked ladies performing on Speaker's Corner. But also thanks to the proximity to Toronto's nightclub district, it was mostly drunken shenanigans. So there was a lot of that, and much of it couldn't even be shown on TV. So I've heard rumors that City TV would make VHS reels of all the best / worst stuff caught on Speaker's Corner and play them on loop at their Christmas parties. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of like X-rated stuff on there that they were.
Oh, I'm sure.
So those VHSs are about. So that was kind of like early, I guess, YouTube. Before the internet, there was Speaker's Corner. And the other reference that people may not have gotten here, having the hammer in the eighth was with an empty house is a curling reference, which basically means a sure score, just like a home run or a slam dunk. So unless you are into curling, you may not have gotten that one. So moving on, Derry says he's got a doozy, Golden Gilmore Gossip Girls. The others all love it. It's a trifecta, like the good Doctor Who's line it is anyway. Is it anyways? Katie suggests if they did a reboot of Who's the Boss, they should really get Bruce Springsteen to star in it. And the Hicks all start doing their Tony dances again and cue the music. So that was the cold open. Tanya, what'd you think?
It was good. I giggled. I laughed out loud. It had a geez, Lord, I can't talk.
Oh my!
Right? Bad. It had a lot of good stuff in it, and made me laugh.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's probably what Victor would consider a true cold open. It has nothing to do with the rest of the episode, but it was a lot of fun and just hilarious that they consider Who's the Boss high art. That's the one show that deserves to be remade, but whatever, it's fun and I was enjoyed it. I really liked the the whole mashup of all the shows. They did a pretty good job at that one. Victor, what did you think?
Well, more importantly, that Wayne was Urkel's biggest fan. So
right, yeah, out of the blue.
Yeah, so that's just trying to close my eyes like he does and trying to picture that. It just wasn't coming. just picturing Wayne sitting on a couch watching Family Matters is just not something that I was able to visualize. But that was a perfect cold open. I thought it was witty. It was charming. It wasn't too long. It was on point. And it had that element of me kind of trying to keep up with them, right? As soon as you pause to try and kind of make sense of what they just said, that's it. You're done.
You've missed out on a bunch of stuff.
Exactly. And I don't like to stop and rewind and that kind of thing. So I just like to kind of do it in one shot. So it had that, and I feel like that's one of the elements of Letterkenny that you got to enjoy as well. I really liked it.
It was a classic cold open for Letterkenny. Matt is still not with us. We've got a search party out for him. Awesome. What do you think?
So, hold on. I have stupid pop-ups. All right. I really like the whole concept of the mashup titles. And I actually came up with a handful.
Oh, go for it.
If you guys are interested.
Absolutely.
Red Green Acres.
Yes. Excellent.
That's appropriate.
Yeah, nice. I'm surprised actually they didn't do that one, considering how Canadian Red Green is.
Yeah.
Right. Midsummer Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
Nice.
See, I would have pegged Wayne as a Murder, She Wrote kind of guy, not a Nurgle.
Yes.
Oh God!
or
Wayne had a crush. Wayne had a crush on Angela Lansbury. You know that.
Can
for sure.
Brooklyn Deep Space 99.
All right. Okay. Yeah. It's all right. Not bad.
Deep Space 99.
Yeah. No. Hercules: The Legendary Journeys to the Land Before Time.
All right. Okay. That one's.
There's a lot to unpack on that one.
Yeah, there definitely is.
And since Kevin Sorbo has been canceled, I don't know about that one.
Kevin Sorbo turned out to be a prick. Who is surprised? Put your hand up.
No.
Well, what do you mean? What is that supposed to mean? Why would you think that he was a prick before?
Yeah, he was just Hercules before.
Well, okay, so I guess maybe if you didn't bum around sci-fi cons like I did.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like he's a B level actor at best.
Yeah, he didn't do much. Oh, actually, I did. I'm ashamed to admit I did watch a movie of his post Hercules. I think it was called The Conqueror or something like that.
Yeah, he did a Cole the Conqueror movie.
Yeah, I was in a
and
weekend
he was also in he was also in a show called Andromeda, and it was like a really it wasn't even B sci-fi, it was like C-list sci-fi. It was bad.
All right, coming out of the cold open, we start with scene 1. Later on, still in the kitchen, we have a standoff between Katie and Wayne. Squirrely Dan and Derry provide the exposition for the episode.
Welcome to this year's Sister versus Brother fundraising challenge in support of Don Cherry's Pets Rescues Foundations.
Weren't you going to come up with a catchier name this year?
And we were, but the only word that rhymes with sibling is nibbling. And that gets real weird real fast.
Fair.
We were tossing around the ideas of calling it Wayne Lose or Draw, which, despite being fun to say, turns out it actually doesn't explain what the hell's we're doing here.
True story.
Now, Wayne, as you are aware, Katie won last year's Doggy Dinner Theaters Challenge.
Gotta hand it to you, sister. Bone Alone was choice.
Deftly crafted and oddly poignant. I can see why audiences raved.
And to you, big brother. Fiddler on the Ruff was also choice.
High concept and gamely delivered, but maybe a smidge too hips for the room.
Katie also won the year before with the Hick or Treat Halloween Challenge. The judges ruled in her favor for her Katie Lang costume over your Wayne's Trains and Automobiles.
Oh yeah, you kicked my caboose.
In fact, Katie is undefeated in the 5-year histories, or should we say herstories, of this here's events.
This proclamation gets a polite golf clap from both Derry and Squirrely Dan. Katie asks what this year's theme is. Derry announces the theme is Letterkenny versus Penny. Whomever can fill the most paint cans with pennies wins. The loser has to roll every single cent. Production note there, the Royal Canadian Mint stopped producing pennies in February 4th of 2013 on account that it costs more to manufacture them than they're worth. So a penny in Canada, it costs about 1.6 cents to make. So it wasn't worth it. So we haven't had actually pennies since 2013. Everything just gets rounded up to the nearest nickel.
But we still have some pennies because how else are you going to play Remoli?
Exactly. Do you play Remoli? Awesome.
I have never played Remoli, and in fact, up until this moment, I'd never heard of it.
Oh, you check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's like poker and rummy and pennies are involved and a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, fun fact, in most countries, it does cost more than a penny to make a penny.
Yeah. Well,
the rest of us haven't seen cents yet.
Yeah, we did something about it because what costs a penny anymore, right? Like nothing.
I'm disappointed that nobody picked up on the cents.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I picked it up when Wayne made the pun. So. Mm-hmm. Scene number 2. Outside Modine's 3. Gail opens the bar and finds Katie waiting for her outside. Katie asks for Gail's help to beat Wayne. Gail says she's more than happy to help Katie beat Wayne off. After the unnecessary preposition, the two share an elaborate handshake and get to work. Scene 3. Back at the farmhouse kitchen, Wayne's still trying to figure out how he'll beat Katie in the competition. He asks Derry and Squirrely Dan for suggestions. Wayne doesn't like any of their suggestions, and then he gets his own brainstorm. His idea is pretty straightforward. Just go door to door. Less is more. Squirrely Dan isn't sure about this idea.
Door knockings can be all sorts of awkward.
Well, it's a great opportunity to catch up on your small town banter as well. You ever notice you never get a straight answer out of anybody in a small town when you ask them how they're doing? I like that.
Derry's concerned. He says door knocking can become hostile if it's supper time or folks are getting busy. Wayne says that's why there needs to be a strategy in place. Wayne says the key is urgency.
Derry, give me your wallet real quick.
See what?
Take it back. Derry, give me your wallet.
But you just gave it back to me.
Derry, give me your wallet real quick. See?
I believes I do.
By adding real quick to the interaction, it creates urgency. So people are less prone to think. They just do.
That is incredible. Wow. I mean, the urgency was right there, and I just got to get the wallet back.
Shut the fuck up real quick. Point and proof.
Next scene, back at Modine's 3. Dickens is at the bar with Gail when Katie joins them.
Any for your thoughts, Jim?
I was just thinking I ought to change the runner on my skid steer.
Sorry, no, I meant, can you spare a penny or two?
I can spare 1, 2, 3, looking at $4, buy 5, looking at 508, looking at 5, sold, but it don't come free. What for?
I'm collecting for Don Cherry's Pet Rescue Foundation.
I give annually to Noah's bark.
Get off your wallet, Dickskin.
It's Dickens.
What's in your jeans, Dickskin?
It's a good thing this Dickskin's got thick skin, Gail. What's the damage?
$2 highballs. But for you, Call it $1.99.
Keep the change. Your tip.
Tip's my favorite part.
That's insane.
I'd like Taryn Taylor his Johnson.
What?
I'd like to Dwayne The Rock his Johnson.
Dickens storms off. But that gives Gail an idea. She announces $1.99 highballs until midnight. That's a start, but Katie says that's just a drop in the bucket. Gail has some more advice for Katie.
You okay with a little white lie, Miss Katie?
A little white lie never hurt anyone.
Here's the scoop. Most people like to give because it makes them feel good. So we gotta be penny wise. Make it easy for them.
Okay.
Not everyone gives a shit about animal rescue. You got the T-Badoos and their kind dragging sick cows around the yard by a loader and chain, for fuck's sakes.
Fuck you, Thibodeau.
Believe it or not, some folks aren't too warm to that fella Don Cherry either.
He's a national treasure.
So, gotta make up a new charity that pulls on their heartstrings, and it'll open up their purse strings.
That's a tad bit shiesty, Gaylor.
Who you doing this for?
The animals?
They won't tell.
That's true.
And this just in, it's fucking pennies.
A little white lie never hurt anyone.
Both Gail and Bonnie start yelling at the patrons to get off their wallets and give Katie their pennies. Next scene, the Hicks are at their first door. It's the house of Mia Sophia, played by Julia Burton, who is the wife of Jay Burton, a.k.a. Tyson. So I didn't know this. Did you know this, Awesome? Of course you did.
Yes, of course I knew that.
I had no idea. I looked.
They're all over each other's Instagrams.
Well, but I don't follow her on Instagram, and well, I do follow him. So, but I didn't notice that she.
I follow him.
Mhm.
I follow her, and I follow Jared's wife, and they're all over each other's Instagrams all the time.
Oh, interesting. There you go.
They're really good friends.
Oh, cool. Well, there's a hilarious, awkward exchange between Mia and the Hicks that involves a lot of misunderstandings with what she's saying and what she's actually meaning. And it all has to do with her certain attributes.
It's my chest, isn't it?
Sorry?
My chest? Just picked it up from a garage sale. Real conversation piece.
Hmm.
Same with my jugs.
What's that?
My grandpa makes moonshine, which those are perfect for. Can you imagine my grandpa and his buddies sucking on these jugs?
No.
How are you now?
Good news.
Are you two staring at my girls?
No. Oh, look at you, Seelin. What's up? You is.
That's an awesome scene because both Derry and Squirrely Dan are just looking everywhere but at her, and it's very funny.
I had a deja vu though. Didn't we do that once before? I feel like
on Letterkenny?
I've seen that.
I don't know.
Now, did I see it because you were watching it? Or did I see it because it happened it's happened before?
What specifically?
Yeah, because something like that's been done before, like in movies and other TV shows.
No, like specifically on Letterkenny. I
You
feel
sure
like
you weren't watching Airplane?
Or
No,
Naked Gun.
No.
Or Hot
I
Shots
feel like
Part
that.
Two.
Or Hot Shots.
It must have been something that I walked in and saw you watching the last little bit of the show.
It's possible. Anyway, just then two other girls emerge from behind Mia Sophia. The exchange continues. Wayne finally gets around to business. He tells Mia that he's collecting for Don Cherry's Pet Rescue Foundation. Mia says her dad loves Don Cherry. They actually share the same last name, so she calls him Papa Cherry. Wayne asks if Mia has ever seen any of the Naked Gun or Hot Shot movies or the Airplane movies on account of all the double entendre happening during their conversation. She is not. Wayne asks if she has any pennies to contribute real quick, and Mia brings out her two big cans. It's a great scene. Scene 6, back at Modine's 3, Katie is collecting pennies from all the guys by naming different charities that she thinks will appeal to them, but she's having no luck collecting from the ladies. Gail suggests Katie arrange a little something for the ladies, so Katie makes a call for backup. Next scene, the Hicks arrive at Coach's front door. Wayne and Coach exchange some inane small talk, which takes a bit of a turn.
Whoa, look at what that cat dragged in.
That's better than what the cat coughed up.
Right before curiosity killed it. Your toesies must be frozies.
Just like my nosies. How are you now?
Well, I'm about 2 points above average.
Oh, two's better than one last time I checked.
It's a beautiful day out. Too nice.
Well, I'd complain, but who would listen?
My wife, Barb, she was an amazing listener.
Tell you what, I'm collecting pennies for the United Wayne real quick.
Give me a sec.
Tell you what, I'll give you two.
Two's better than one.
Coach comes back with a large jug of pennies. Then, after a little more small talk, Wayne takes his leave. Next scene, back at Modine's 3.
Okay, hold on.
Go ahead.
I gotta say something.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody else get like massive Norman Bates vibes off Coach in that scene?
Sure, especially when Wayne leaves and he calls out to Barb. Yes, Barb, I'm coming. I'm gonna. Yeah. That's all.
Like,
because Tanya's like she's confused. Well, isn't Barb dead? I'm like, yes, she's dead. She's very dead. And yeah.
Barb's Dusty Carps is somewhere in that flat, probably wearing her wedding dress.
Yes. Oh
man.
That was terrifying because it came out right before Halloween. And I remember staying up and waiting to watch it and then watching that scene and then thinking, I'm never sleeping again.
And he's so good in that.
Happy Halloween, motherfuckers.
He turns on a dime where he gets almost teary-eyed when he's talking about Barb, and then Wayne says, do you have any pennies real quick? And he turns on a dime and like back to chipper kind of inane small talk.
You can see him like mentally shifting gears, and it's a rough shift.
Yeah. Well done.
If you can't find him, grind him.
He's on Fargo, right? I haven't seen Fargo though. Does he?
Yeah, he is. He's in Fargo.
Which season?
I don't know.
Or do you
I think 3.
Oh.
No. I think he's in series 3 or 4, or possibly both.
Okay.
So does he play a comedic character in that too, or is it more serious? Because it looks like he's actually got some acting chops, like not just comedy.
No, Forward does have some genuine acting chops. I haven't actually seen Fargo, but from the reviews and stuff that I've talked about with my friends, no, it's not. It's more of a incidentally comedic,
right? Yeah, the movie.
Intended to be dramatic.
Yeah,
but he does have some funny bits.
Interesting. I might have to check that out. Scene number 8, back at Modine's 3. Katie's backup arrives in the form of Riley and Jonesy. Katie asks them to go around to all the ladies in the bar and ask for pennies for whatever charity they need to make up. Riley and Jonesy thinks this is a bit shisty. But then a group of snipes walks past them and they agree to help, for Katie's sake, of course. Next up, the Hicks are in McMurray's kitchen. Wayne and McMurray do their usual talk over each other bit, but Wayne quickly seizes control and helps McMurray navigate to the point of their visit, but not before some more inane small talk, which McMurray quickly makes uncomfortable, as he does.
Got all these pennies, and yet the wife still says I ain't got any sense.
Thank you, sir. Say, do me a favor, all right?
Literally anything.
You take care.
On one condition.
Uh-oh, what's that?
You do the same.
Your terms are acceptable.
Say my sperms are, too.
Too much fun.
Oh, man.
McMurray is a fucking ruiner. He just ruins things. That's he can't help it. It's a compulsion.
Yeah. Well, Coach did the same though, right? Both conversations went from stupid small talk to, well, in Coach's case, uncomfortable sadness, and in McMurray's case, just uncomfortable. Next scene, back at Modine's 3, Riley and Jonesy are attempting to use their charms to coax pennies from the female clientele, but in the end, they just ask the boys to take their tarps off, which they do, and then the women start throwing pennies at them. Scene 11, the Hicks wait outside the front doors of a duplex. Wayne shouts out real quick, and out come Joint Boy and Tyson from each door, each with a bag of pennies for Wayne. Then we get a musical montage of the Hicks filling their paint cans with pennies and Katie filling her paint cans at Modine's 3. Next scene, Wayne is at the church with Glenn. He says the magic words real quick, and, well, it's Glenn, so...
Well, I've been saving these up in the hopes that one day I'd have enough to go on a pilgrimage to Bethlehem so that I could see the actual spot where the Virgin M gave birth to the baby J. I call this my virgin mother load. Now, I would like you to take this load in front of God and all his angels. Take my load, Wayne. Wayne, take my load in the church.
Too much
unbelievable fun. Back to the montage of Hicks filling up paint cans, and at Modine's, Riley and Jonesy are now on their knees, shirtless, while women throw pennies at them. Dickens comes by to give Katie a donation and a judgmental look. Next scene, at the kitchen, the Hicks are admiring the fruits of their labor. It's a great haul, but Wayne doesn't want to underestimate Katie, so he wants to keep his foot on the gas. Their next stop is the Skid's lair. Stuart scoffs at the idea of donating anything to that barbarian Don Cherry. Rold chimes in. He's been collecting pennies his whole life. Rold reveals his motherlode of pennies. Wayne is impressed with Rold's load.
Well, I'd be happy to give you my load, Wayne. You'd have to earn it, of course. Coax it out of me. Tell you what, I need a few things done around my place. That would be a fair trade. This load.
Like what?
My tub needs to be recocked. One of the cabinet doors in my kitchen is making this noise like every time you open it. The mosquito netting around my canopy bed has a tear in it. The handles on my vanity are jiggly. And my bone china.
Okay.
Stuart rolled. I hadn't finished yet.
Yes, you did. I can smell it.
Oh my
That's the line of the episode. Scene 14.
How did they get through that without just cracking up every time?
I'm sure multiple takes. Scene 14. At Modine's, Katie, Gail, Riley, and Jonesy admire the fruits of their labor. Next scene. Back at the farmhouse kitchen, the two competitors compare their hauls.
Solid haul, big brother.
Yep. Well, there's just nothing to scoff at either. They're half full.
Ever the optimist. But this is clearly your year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy for you, big brother.
Katie heads up to bed, leaving Wayne, Derry, and Squirty Dan in the kitchen. It seems Wayne isn't enjoying his victory as much as he thought he would. Next scene, Wayne is back at the Skid's lair.
What's your fucking name again?
Rolled.
What needs recocked?
What needs recocked?
Caulked. Fuck. Caulked?
Say it again.
Caulked?
Say it again.
Fuck's sake.
Let me show you to my bathtub.
Back at the farmhouse kitchen the next morning, Katie comes down from her room. Derry and Squirty Dan are still counting. Katie looks at her pile of paint cans. There are many more cans than there were the night before.
Where did these come from?
I don't know, Katie.
Impressive works, Miss Katie's.
Wayne,
Katie?
do you know anything about these pennies?
Fuck a duck. Looks like you hit the motherlode.
Let's keep counting.
No, I think we're done here. She wins.
What?
Are you counterfeiting?
I'd counter with forfeiting, yes.
Are you calling it, Wayne's?
Well, look at the size of her pile. It's way bigger. I mean, it just makes sense.
Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, ooh.
Well, then, it's official. Katie wins.
Big brother, I don't know what you did, but you definitely did something.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but I do know that you won fair and square again.
You're a good boy.
And most importantly, more good boys and good girls get homes as a result. So if you'll excuse me, I should get rolling.
More hands make less work.
In for a penny.
In for a pound.
And we fade to black. All right. It is time to discuss this episode. We still don't have Matt. He's having some issues. And is he going to join us again? Maybe.
No, I don't believe so. I'm just asking him if he'd like to give his rating.
Send his rating. Yeah. He's having some. We'll just leave it at that. He'll be, if he can join us, great. If not, hopefully he can just text us his rating. Let's start with, Tanya, you're first.
All right. Rating or just review?
Just discuss.
No, just
review.
your
Review.
thoughts.
I thought you said review. I'm like, what?
Sorry.
I missed something. I really did like it. I love how awkward some of Wayne's visits were. He did really get the majority of the worst people to see. I love Gail in the, oh my God, her and the whole there's so many sound effects in this episode that just made me laugh so hard.
Some of them were very uncomfortable.
They were
a couple from Rold were
and
just like
Rold
unnecessary.
he made a lot of sound effects too. But oh my God, it makes it even better. So for what I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was a fun episode. Wow. And I mean, I'll say it again. I always loved episodes where they involve everyone in the cast. And this one, I can't think of anyone that they left out other than Mrs. McMurray. all of them were there, including Gail, Glenn, Dickens. It was beautiful and so much, and Coach, so much fun. And
we could have had Tanis.
You're right. Actually, she's the only one who was left out, which is interesting.
I also wanted to ask, where was this in the world of Don Cherry? Had that whole explosion happened?
No,
it hadn't happened. But
so this was This was shot the year before.
Oh, okay.
And then right a month after this debuted, that's when Don Cherry was released from contract.
Right. I mean, but leading up to it,
they were kind of referencing,
because
he's not everyone's favorite.
Him losing his or getting released from his contract wasn't it wasn't the only thing, right? There were a lot of episodes leading up to it, so there was already a divide of people who were for Don Cherry and who were against Don Cherry. So the fact that they alluded to that, but still, look, he's. We won't get into it because, unless if you're Canadian, unless you're awesome or Canadian, you don't know who he is and you don't care. But the guy was a very high profile guy in this country and had a very high profile.
Said a lot of controversial things.
And at the end, he finally got canceled. But was he canceled or was he just really, really old and probably should have retired 20 years ago? And this was the last straw that made it happen, right? So anyway,
ding 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 ding.
Canceled himself.
Yeah. So this was a fun episode. I loved it. Lots of stuff. I had something in my head and it's gone now. I should have probably written it down. Damn it. Let's move on. Victor, what did you think of this episode?
It just broke my train of thought.
Yeah.
I thought the episode was near perfect. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a classic Letterkenny. It was nice that they gave us what the premise was going to be about. Mm-hmm. So it was nice to kind of follow and understand why they're going and collecting pennies. So that was nice. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a cheeky comment. And there was just so many good scenes. There's the one that I kind of thought you guys could have tried harder when they had not two identical tropes in kind of two scenes where they went with the load trope was to kind of and it's like with the two gay guys, you know what I mean? Like, come on, come on, mix it up. Let's get a little variety there. So I felt that was a little, they could have tried harder on that. But that aside, I thought it was just a near perfect episode, really.
Mm-hmm. If I were to pick one thing to maybe harp on, and this is just, I would be nitpicking, is Katie resorting to lying about charities to get pennies. It kind of seemed against her character.
That offended you more than using Riley and Jonesy as pets?
No, that's typical Letterkenny bait and switch, right? They were playing the what do you call them, himbos? So they were playing the male bimbo role there, and
but neither is good.
No, you're right. Neither is good, but at the same time, they're just flipping expectations.
But didn't you feel sorry for them? I felt sorry for them.
Their facial expressions kind of made it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a little bit because, like you're saying, their facial expressions made it seem like they weren't best pleased by that particular situation. Like maybe they had been learning a lesson about objectification and how it's not a nice thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I think the tables were turned on them and they maybe learned a lesson by doing it, but they were also compliant and willing to do it. So there's that.
Yeah, because that's
wait a second.
They always take with Katie. Katie wears the strap in that relationship.
So again, if I were to pick something to nitpick at, it would just be that Katie kind of resorting to the lying and deception because Gail suggested it. And also using Riley and Jonesy in that way. So that was a bit off-putting, but very minor. Like everything else, I'm with you there, Victor. Everything else was just really brilliantly funny.
And it's not the first time Katie, disappoints us every now and then with not showing her best side.
Fair enough. Awesome. What did you think of this episode?
We got a Matt. I don't know whether you want to insert Matt's. Yeah.
So, well, he's given us his rate. So we're not at ratings yet. So when we get to ratings, he's given us his rating and his MVP. I don't think
he's saying who has that many pennies.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we've got a small jar of them upstairs, but yeah.
And that it was a fun episode. Mm-hmm. He wishes that he was here, and he's apologetic that he's missing it.
Yeah, he's under a certain amount of distress right now.
Oh, please let him know. I hope everything's okay.
Everything will be fine. Everything will pass in time. It's probably passing through him real fast right now. We'll leave it at that.
That's terrible to say. What? I don't think there's anything bad to say that he has food poisoning.
Okay, that's it. So he's gotten hit with a bout of food poisoning. He says, "Tell Awesome she's awesome, and feel free to make fun at my expense." So hey, we have the green light. We can make fun of Matt not being able to get off the shitter right now.
Sure, get off the shitter.
Oh my God, Shorzy. We should so play him a clip and send it to him. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, every time we mention Matt's name, you need to edit in a fart.
Or not just a fart, one of those, Dumb and Dumber type of farts.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Shorzy on the bog, just shirting into oblivion.
Yeah, it's too bad I don't like editing, or else I'd be doing all that stuff you guys are talking. All right, awesome. What did you think of this episode?
I love this episode. We don't ever actually get to see Wayne and Katie in opposition like we get to see in this episode, where they're going up against each other. And even though they're on opposing sides, what's really interesting is that we get to see a lot of the ways in which they're alike, as well as a lot of the ways in which they differ in their approach to this challenge. One of the things I find interesting, to your point earlier about Katie being slightly out of character, she does.
You know what? It may not be out of character because to Victor's point, she has kind of disappointed us in the past with some of her behavior. So maybe this isn't out of character. Maybe she is a user.
I don't actually think so. She does take Gail's suggestion, but so we've already seen the Valentine's Day episode, right? Yeah. And Katie specifically mentions that half these dipshits were in my grade 2 class. Does that include Gail? Like, because she comes to Gail for help, and then they have that like secret handshake friendship dance. That's the fucking handshake from the Parent Trap movie. You don't choreograph a special handshake with a friend while you're an adult. You do that while you're a kid.
Right.
True.
So that's showing that they've known each other for that long.
Yeah, exactly. And Katie's first instinct is to call Gail's plan shiesty, but for some reason, she feels like she needs a leg up this year. So she's feeling like she has to go the extra mile in order to get one over on Wayne this time, for whatever reason. I'm not sure what that is. It's not really established. But then at the end of the episode, you do see Katie sincerely congratulating Wayne on his victory. But she's not happy.
No, because she's spoiled. But it looks like Wayne does everything in his power to make her happy.
I don't think that's it. I think
she may not have won anything legitimately in her life ever.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, the way this
No. I think that this being a break in the pattern, as in conjunction with she's not in a relationship, and she hasn't been for a long time in the show. Wayne is in a relationship. That relationship is moving forward in a way that she's not ever been able to access up to this point. She feels like he is leaving her behind. He's moving forward in his life, and she's just treading water. And I think while she is genuinely happy for her brother, she's upset about her circumstances because she doesn't see any way out of it. And Wayne, being the kind of guy that he is, he sees that she's unhappy, and his first instinct is, well, I don't like that. So he goes out of his way to make her happy the only way that he can.
He goes to cock, roll, tub.
No, and we've seen before that she is a genuinely competitive person, right? Like the whole spelling bee episode.
Right.
But even then, Wayne's doing everything to support her. Like she's got heavy support.
Wayne is supporting her, but he's not winning the spelling bee for her. He's trying to fucking eliminate cheating. That's not the same thing.
He's looking out for his younger sister. I get it, but it does seem she gets her way when she wants it, and then she's also a bit of a user of people. So, Katie is.
I mean, she uses what Riley and Jonesy, but honestly, I think that's just the dynamic of their relationship. She doms them all the time.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is she runs the whole group of Hicks.
Yeah.
She's the one with the brain cell. They all look to her. Even Wayne. Think about the Easter episode, right? She tops the shit out of him at the kitchen table. The whole no buts conversation. Katie is in charge in that family.
Yeah.
And that's the way that he likes it, because if he didn't like it, he'd have some shit to say about it. But he doesn't. So that's just how they work. I don't think that means she uses people. I think that means that's just the dynamic that they're comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll see. And she definitely uses Riley and Jonesy. We'll see if she exhibits that behavior with anybody else. Can we move on to ratings, or did you have all your points there?
Oh, wait, I have a couple more. First of all, Fiddler on the Roof. I need this from the very bottom of my dog-loving Jewish soul. I need this. Give me it. Jared Kizo, if you're listening to this, fucking film it. I want to see Gus waving his little arms in the air, going tradition, like Tevye, okay? Put him in a vest, make that shit happen. I need it. 2020 was a shit of a year. Give me this. It will cure my depression.
And then also, Linda and I did a rewatch of Fiddler on the Roof about a month ago. That was fun. Yeah, so much fun.
I'm going to admit something right now.
Musical.
I'm not proud of, but I've never seen Fiddler.
Oh, you're missing out.
And
the fuck are you even doing in this conversation?
One of the greatest.
I don't even know what it's about. There's a fiddler and he's on a roof. That's all I know.
Oh my God.
I know.
No.
I should rectify that. I will rectify that. So it's a musical, you say?
It is.
Is it a book?
It's not shit. Yeah, it's not really a musical. It's a movie with musical.
Okay. And is there only like one version?
Okay, so the play is a musical.
It's a play.
Yes.
Okay, so what did you watch with Linda,
and
Victor?
there was a film version of the play.
Okay.
Starring Zero Mostel.
All right. Well, I'll look it up and rectify that, because I do feel, left out of this conversation because I had no idea what you're talking about.
All right.
I get that it's a play on the title, but that's all I got out of that bit there.
Yeah. And then I want to point out, like, Wayne's got a deep-seated compulsion towards punnery. Like, he legitimately cannot help himself.
The dad jokes are strong with him for sure. And the small talk, the innate small talk, all of it is sadly, and I'm again ashamed to admit, I'm guilty of using at least every single one of those puns.
The architect of your demise.
Well, except for that one. But all the other ones, at least, those terms are agreeable or whatever. Yeah, I've used them all.
Yeah.
I've used them all.
Okay, so I now have to bring up the whole who's a good boy exchange.
Mm-hmm. Wayne's her
Katie's
puppy.
idea of intimidating Wayne is giving him bedroom eyes. Like that's
messed up.
Fucking weird, and they're fucking weird.
That's messed up.
And then no, okay, so then the little growl and then the boof that he does.
Mm-hmm.
Bet you $1 that's Jared Kizo's impression of his own fucking dog.
Maybe.
Very good. All right.
Yeah, and then the only other thing I have to say is because we covered the whole thing with Coach and being fucking weird, and he's fucking weird. Yeah, no, how fucking cute is it that Tyson and JB have a duplex?
Yeah, and they live right beside each other, and it's a lot. Yeah.
Now, okay, hold on. Let's take bets. Hands up if you think half of that duplex is a grow house and they actually live in the other half together.
It's obviously Joint Boys half, yes.
Let's be real. Half of that duplex is a fucking grow.
Oh my.
We'll have to go to Sudbury and try to find that place and see.
Exactly.
Road trip.
All right.
Yeah,
there we go.
Let's move on to ratings. Tanya, what do you give this one? Fresh, clearance, or compost?
It's a fresh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was a great.
You are sugarcoating it. You're giving it a fresh.
It was a great episode. It made me laugh. There was nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved. Yeah, it was great.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I'm short and sweet tonight.
Yeah, and I agree with you. There's nothing wrong with this episode. This episode could have been in the first 3 seasons, and it would have belonged, which is weird because the way this season's gone so far, it's kind of left us kind of cold. But this one is a genuine throwback Letterkenny episode.
Yeah,
they like Victor said, they stated the premise up front. They stuck to it. It was a great premise. It involved all the favorite characters minus Tanis. We miss you, Tanis. And so much fun. So much innuendo, just from everything from the
innuendo.
Yeah, from the visit with Mia to Rold to Glenn. It was perfect. So yes, it's definitely a fresh for me.
And how come puppies are called tits?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could bring that up, but yeah.
I don't know.
Never heard of a puppy called a tit.
I feel like they just did that so that they could keep that going. I think
heard
they
of
just
that reference.
Yeah, I know the saying "don't be a tit."
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Though I'm not sure why that's a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never heard of puppies being referred to as tits. I understood it. At least I understood what they meant.
There's the Twitter poll. Has anyone referenced a puppy as a tit?
Okay, I'll put it down. I feel like no one's gonna bite on that one.
Never in my life have I ever heard that.
Okay, well then, if Awesome has never heard of it, then it's not a thing.
I think they just needed to keep the pun going, and
I think so.
Yeah, they needed that Peter Steller shtick to keep going on.
And who says tits?
Yeah,
like, who says tits? In real life, if people say tits, right? That's a bit of a
yes.
It's not right. So it's got some crudeness to it, but I don't think people say tits.
No. Okay, hold on.
I don't say tits.
Okay, having worked on a ranch, right? The word TEAT that people use to refer to.
Yeah.
No.
It's not. It's not. No, it's not supposed to be said teat.
Oh.
That's really modern. It's tit.
Oh.
TEAT is pronounced tit. And when you're milking something, you grab their tits.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
You milk them.
But do you
like whether it's goats?
Victor, are you blushing?
Whether it's goats or sheep or cows?
I'm learning new things.
But do you refer to teat or tit as something other than animal and milking? Like, would you say that person's being a real tit?
And I have a small theory on why somebody useless is called a tit. Because of the expression "useless as tits on a bull."
Or tits on a nun is another one.
That was from the episode.
Yeah, I guess. But the expression is that dude's useless as tits on a bull. So I think that got shortened to he's a tit.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense. Sure. Especially
right.
given the farm boy angle. That would make
Are there
complete
tits on
sense.
bulls? I gotta look that up.
No. Oh, okay. Technically, yes, they all have nipples because they're mammals, but unless you do some heavy hormonal therapy intervention, no, they're useless.
All right, Victor. What do you give this episode?
I think they're necessary for aesthetics. I think this episode is an easy fresh.
That's a lot of easies there.
Yeah, it's obviously the best episode of this season so far.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and we knew it was going to come.
Mm-hmm.
We just had to be patient. But my goodness, there's so many great scenes for me. Mia's and the coach, those two, especially Glenn. They're all good scenes. They're just all good scenes. Like I said, I didn't like that they used the motherlode, or not the motherlode, but the load trope
twice
in a row.
Yeah.
It's not just twice, but one after another.
Right.
And of course to the two gay guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a little cheap, but that's what are you going to do?
Who used it better, Glenn or Rold? Because Glenn's was great, but Rold's is pretty good too. I don't know.
Both good, and that's probably what they felt like. Let's just use both of them. They're both
I think
great.
I'd give the edge to Glenn just because he was in church. It's like this. Take my motherlode. Take it in church. Take it before God. It was just.
I'd have to agree
Take
with
my
you.
motherlode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you, and so they could have twisted things a little differently with Roll, but
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So easy, fresh, no doubt about it.
All right. So do we have a rating from Matt?
Yes, we do.
From the bathroom.
Oh, am I giving that one? From the dear Lord.
From the throne.
Hopefully it's not tainted.
Oh man, Matt's giving his rating.
He's giving his MVP. One moment, please. Going through. So he's saying it was a fresh.
There we go.
Wondrous. Oh my gourd.
Oh my god.
Season 7's first unicorn.
Oh my god.
And like clockwork, Victor changes his background to the unicorn. Yes. I had a feeling watching this one that it was going to be a unicorn.
It was great.
Yeah, it was a great episode.
Great.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. The pressure's off you. You don't need, we have consensus for unicorn, but you can let us know what you thought of this episode.
Well, obviously, I think this one's a fresh. If we're going back a minute or two to our discussion of Glenn versus Rold, I think Rold's little sound effects kind of edge it out for him.
They're so uncomfortable. Yeah. Just
Yes, that's the point, and I love them.
Yeah.
And then also, so Wayne is very uncomfortable being objectified, right? Like, we know this is established fact. And yet, he, even knowing what Rold is going to do, he still voluntarily goes to Rold to get Katie the pennies. Like, even knowing that Rold is going to be like creeping on his arse all night long, he still does that. He subjects himself to that thing that he finds most uncomfortable in order to make Katie happy. And I just, so these two are my favorites. They're my favorite dynamic. They're my favorite characters. And I love everything about their relationship, and I want to see it explored more in the next two series, hopefully, fingers crossed, right? So many times on TV, you see characters with siblings and they do nothing but bicker and squabble. And it's very, very clear that the writers themselves don't have siblings and they don't know what they did.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
She's frozen too. Oh no. Now we're down to 3. Then there were 3. Oh man.
How many monkeys jumping in?
Maybe Matt flushed and and the undertow took awesome.
Well, hopefully we get Awesome back. In the meantime, top fives. Tanya, does this make your top 5 list?
Are we doing MVP?
Not usually MVP is after top 5.
Oh, top 5.
You have
I hadn't given that a thought.
Fuss at the golf course, Dick Slip Out, Valentine's Day, Bush Party Season.
I'm gonna say nope.
No, yeah, it doesn't make mine either. It's a great episode. It would be in my top 10, but not a top. My top 5 is pretty solid. Victor, does this make your top 5?
We'll have to run down the list.
Okay. Where are you? Here we go. Dick Slip Out's your number 1. Relationships, number 2.
It sure is.
Spelling Bee, number 3.
It sure is.
Talent Show, number 4.
My goodness.
And you, number 5.
Oh, boy. You know what? I really enjoyed that episode, but I'm going to switch this one up with 5.
Oh, yeah? So this becomes number 5.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I just enjoyed. I giggled and laughed at all the scenes, and I appreciate that about this episode. I had a joyful time watching it.
Yeah, we'll get Matt's top 5 when he gets off the turlet, and maybe.
Dear Lord.
Awesome. We were concerned that Matt flushed and the undertow got you.
No, I'm. Yeah.
Awesome. I believe you've given us your top 5 in the past, but would you like to refresh us?
So I consider episode 1 and 2 this part of this, like the same episode, like a single pilot episode, and that's number 1. I think number 2 would have to be relationships.
Good choice.
That's my number 2.
Yeah.
Let's see, number 3. Well, if we're only going up to 7, hold on. Number 3 has got to be the Halloween episode.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
4. This dead air is really great for podcasting.
No, it's not great. It's not great for radio or podcast.
Where's that Jeopardy music, Al?
Oh, yeah.
Do.
It's
shoot.
Oh, wrong link. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that was not. That was on purpose. That was on purpose.
Oh my goodness.
You guys keep distracting me. Never mind. Like, whatever. I love this episode. It'd be in the top 10 for sure. Don't make me do the top 5.
Yeah, okay.
You're paraphrasing.
He gave us the top 3. So
okay, let's move on to MVPs. Tanya.
MVP. Oh my gosh. There are so many amazing characters and so many. This one's really hard to pick an MVP for because I loved Gail. I loved her. I can't even do it. She did it so well. And Bonnie McMurray, she's like the whole fuck thing, yelling back and forth with Gail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like we haven't really heard her go in that way.
Yeah.
Like,
she let her freak fly.
She did.
And for the first time.
And I loved that as well.
Yeah. No, Gail has obviously been rubbing off on Bonnie. Pun intended.
Yeah. They worked.
Yeah.
Oh, hey there.
Yeah, so Gail was awesome. I loved Bonnie's little moment there. Katie, there was some awkwardness between her and Wayne and some of those moments. Oh my gosh, Glenn was amazing. I find him more like so awesome. I love his character.
And he only gets funnier as the series goes on.
Funnier.
You know?
Like the person that upset me the most, I love the most now. And it's just odd, but I love it. But you know what? This time, and I've never given it to him before, it's got to be Rolled. He went in. I loved how he delivered his lines. I loved his mannerisms. I loved his the way he used his voice. I
love when Wayne goes, "What the fuck's your name again?"
It was awkward, but it was awkward in a good way. Like I just love what he gave to that show, like to this episode, for sure.
All right, rolled. Let's see. My runners up. First of all, the line of the episode, and I called it while I was doing the run through. Stuart saying, "I could smell it," like just so fucking great.
Yeah.
I love that line. I love.
There's
that
so
line.
many MVPs on this one.
But I mean, he didn't do much else in that, but he just delivered the line of the episode. I agree. Rolled was fire as well. I would have given it to Rolled, but I feel like Glenn, his scene was so short, but just in his scene, just not that short scene, it was gold. He delivered. So I'm going to give it to Glenn. Victor.
Yeah, I can't wait to share my MVP, and it's funny. It's funny for me that Matt's not here because he'd flip out that he's missing this one.
Really? Because is it an actual person this time?
That's right.
It's a normal one.
You got it. It's conventional. So
conventional.
So for me, the MVP is Mia, and I'll tell you why.
Ah, nice.
My favorite episode of all time so far in the Letterkenny universe is Dick Slip Out, and that's because of if you recall, my MVP in that episode was the innuendo.
Yeah, the penis innuendo. Yes, and the ridiculous MVP.
That's right, the penile innuendo. And this one scene was basically that episode, and it was just so hilarious. And when her girls slipped out,
twice. Yeah, when they come out from so that's something I wanted to comment on. So they do this. So Letterkenny knows it's a TV show, right? Because they do a lot of like stage stuff. Whenever somebody comes up from behind the produce stand, Rold and Stewart coming up from behind the bar, like popping up behind the bar, and now the two girls coming up from behind Mia, like those are like things you see in a play, in a stage play, not on a TV show, and it's just hilarious when they do that shit.
No, I want to point out that is something that only happens on TV because stuff like that is impossible to stage live.
Well, okay, the two girls behind Mia is impossible, but somebody coming up from behind the produce stand, where else would they be coming from, right? Like,
right? No, okay, so that is a whole like entrance and exit scene gag. But no, the thing with Mia Sophia and her girls is more like series 3 episode 3 Modines 2 where the Hicks pull cheese and bread and a donut and a cruller and shit out of nowhere. You know, like the physical gags like that.
David Blaine, come on, that stuff is awesome.
That motherfucker is such a fucking fake. I don't give a shit. Prestidigitation is not that impressive. Pull your finger out of your ass. How about that for a fucking magic trick?
Anyway. Do we have an MVP from the turlet, from Matt's turlet?
Oh my goodness. So Matt says Rolled was his MVP.
Okay.
Second place to McMurray simply because of his response present.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
That was funny.
He said it was such a fun episode. Again, he wishes he was here, and he says, "Awesome, tell Awesome she's awesome." So there you go. There you go.
I hope he feels better.
So his MVP was Rolled, not
Correct.
McMurray. Okay, awesome. Who is your MVP?
My MVP is Wayne for giving the victory to Katie. Like that is what older siblings do, and as the oldest sibling, like that is what I would do. Like for any of my siblings, I would if they were that unhappy, even if I was happy and if it was the first time I'd won anything, I would turn around and give it to them because that's what you do.
Yeah.
Like no contest.
You look after them.
The scene where he's explaining his real quick idea.
Oh, I'm
hilarious.
so going to use that. I'm so going to use that. Every meeting I have now, I'm just going to be like, real quick, can we just nail this down?
Derek,
what's the answer for this? Real quick.
The thing is like 50% of the time it does work.
Yeah, that's fine.
I am so going to do that now.
50% of the time it works 100% of the time. Yes, it was so well done.
Oh, there.
No,
you know what?
Especially on kids, like for used to, especially on kids. Try it on the kids.
That's a better Tanya Twitter poll.
What's that?
Is have you used the term real quick and does it work?
All right.
You know what's funny is So William doesn't watch Letterkenny. He knows of it, and I watched a couple of episodes, but he's not familiar with the show. He's been using Real Quick for the last 3 years.
Oh, really? Because of Letterkenny, or was it?
No, nothing to do with Letterkenny at all. It's just a thing that's said, right? And he's been using it in his regular repertoire.
He must find that it's like it gets him what he needs really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I love it. I'm so gonna try.
All right. I have no listener comments this week. It was a bit of a quiet week. So, by the way,
I have one listener comment.
What's that?
Okay, so last week you said in Nut that the Hicks had forgotten that Stuart's girlfriend's name was Gay.
Right.
But they didn't.
Okay.
Because if you look in the background, Murray Fred is asking Wayne, is this conversation really happening? And he goes, no. Wait for it.
Oh, okay.
And then they go through the whole thing, and then Roald comes up with his reminder, and Marie Fred suddenly understands, and Wayne goes, yep, that's it. There you go. Now you got it.
So at least Wayne remembered, but he doesn't remember Roald's name, but he remembered that Stuart's girlfriend's name was Gay.
Yeah, no, and I think they all remembered it, and they're just winding Stuart up, because what the fuck else are you going to do in a bar?
Sure.
Right? When everything's snowed in.
All right, that makes
sense. You
sense.
just wind up your friends.
And there was another moment between Wayne and Stuart again when they said the same thing, and they said, "You owe me a soda" or something.
Oh yeah.
And
he was
like,
like,
Jake, show me a Coke.
Yeah, and Stuart's like that he gets to have another Wayne moment.
Yeah. There's more. There's more of those. Yeah, for sure. More Stuart and Wayne moments. Now more Roald and Wayne moments, which those are a lot of fun. What the fuck's your name again? And just
what the fuck's your name again?
And then Roald just making Wayne so uncomfortable. It's great.
Love it.
I know. Wayne is so awkward. Everybody focuses on how awkward Daryl is, but Wayne is just as awkward.
Yeah.
And I love it because he's the leading man, right? He's supposed to be all slick and suave and what have you. No, he's an awkward little prick. Yeah. He really is.
His little too much fun every time at the end of each one of those scenes is great.
You get the distinct impression that he is this close from snapping and just choking someone.
I love it.
That's great. All right. This has been fun. We really missed Matt today, but awesome. You filled in mightily. So let's go with final thoughts here. Tanya.
I'm looking forward to the next episode. And with you guys, Awesome and Alan, you guys are talking about all these moments that are going to happen in the future. And I can't wait to see them. It's exciting.
That's great. Too much fun. Anyway.
Too much fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. You once again did an awesome job. Although I think you may have been responsible for killing Matt.
No.
So
How? From 3,000 miles away. Explain that to me.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it was Joshua's jam.
Joshua's jam.
Oh, no.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're going to have to give him so much shit in the Discord after.
My continental breakfast includes jam. I was in the jam aisle for quite some time thinking about Joshua and his jam and thinking, oh my God, if there was only a variety pack of those little jams so that I could sample a few. But I ended up going with the strawberry.
Okay, let's not tell tales out of school. I'm sure it wasn't Joshua's jam. I'm sure it was delicious. Although it did spend a lot of time in customs. So
it really did.
It took a long time to get here from. I mean, it's only a 6-hour drive to Pennsylvania from here. So
I've had food
it took
poisoning.
I think 3 weeks for Matt to get the jam from Joshua.
If that jam jar was not perfectly sealed,
I think we may have something there. Oh no.
We're going to have to give him so much shit in the Discord after this.
I hope he's there today. So thank you, Awesome, for coming on.
Not a pun, so much shit.
You picked you picked an amazing episode to be on once again. And we all agree, obviously. So thanks for coming by. Victor?
Yeah, so I guess we can do a Twitter poll and see if folks think that it was the jam or it was or it was Awesome's spooky actions at a distance.
Do you have,
oh God,
do you have
I want to be a particle and a wave.
Do you have a Matt voodoo doll somewhere in that room there?
No, just yours.
Oh, wow. That's why my back hurts. All right.
Anyway, so the audition continues, and you continue to do well. Today, you took Matt's coffee spot, so that was done well as well.
Yes, well done. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. So
no worries, mate. Anytime.
Yeah. So you fit in like a glove here. So thanks for coming out. Thanks for being you. And this was a really fun episode.
Grow up. All right, I'm talking to Tanya, not you, Victor. Awesome.
What?
Your final thoughts. Tanya,
it would have fit anyway.
I gave the
my final thoughts is what the fuck was Tanya laughing at that you told her to grow up?
Well, when Victor said you filled in like a glove, Tanya mimicked a doctor putting on a latex glove.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought it was the coming out thing, and I was like, I've never been in.
No.
Anyway. No, I always love being on the show with you guys, and I love talking to you on the Twitter chat, and whenever I get to talk to Tanya, of course, it's a stellar night for me. So,
all right, and this is going to be a regular length episode with Awesome on. So there you go. You kept your promise. I'm going to play us off here
because Matt wasn't here.
Because Matt wasn't here. Matt's the problem. Matt is the problem.
God.
I'm going to play us off here with a track from this episode, DIY.
What is she doing?
By Pony. She's laying down. She's got a mirror in her hand. Anyway, it's an interesting
podcast.
It's an audio podcast.
The cover, though, the lady's doing something on her back.
And that's all we have for this episode. Next week, we review and recap episode 5 of season 7, W's Talk Baby, with our guest, Dennis. Dennis is coming back. We can't wait. And actually, special note for next week's episode, it's not going to be on Thursday. It's going to be on Tuesday because Tanya and I are on vacation next week. So Dennis was nice enough to move things around. So we were going to have Dennis Tuesday night for his highly anticipated visit. We can't wait. Hopefully Matt's feeling better by then. Don't forget to give our sponsor Diabolical Coffee some love. They're at diabolicalcoffee.com. Right now you can use the promo code ProduceStand for 10% off any purchase from their site. If you'd like to support the podcast, rate us on iTunes or become a patron. There's a Patreon link on our site or Twitter profile at ProduceStandPod. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, ProduceStandPod. Thanks again. Now we're going to collect some pennies for real quick for the Don Cherry Pet Rescue Foundation. On behalf of Awesome, Matt, Victor, Tanya, and myself, thank you for listening and have a great week.